Hi, welcome back to Team Tarot. Felicia and Angela here. We are going to be discussing the Hermit and Wheel of Fortune, both upright meanings and reversals. If you find our videos helpful, informative, and or entertaining, please comment, like, and subscribe. So let's jump in.
Yeah, so the Hermit. I always associate the Hermit with myself because a lot of people associate it with Virgo.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, some cards have associations with the zodiac. So if we look at the photo, I didn't even get it out. I'll put it on the screen. Yeah, so
Okay.
he is clearly trying to find something, right? He looks very deep in thought. In my imagery, and I encourage people to look on their card, like there's almost like a pang of maybe pain or loss sometimes in this card. And again, I would look to like surrounding cards, but the Hermit is all about like introspection, looking within, trying to find truth. It's a card of healing sometimes, solitude, withdrawal, taking a time out, using intuition. And I call it a passive card, but it's not passive in the sense that there's so much going on internally.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. I see it as a time for everything you just said for sure, but also just like reflection, like that deep. It's not even like learning new things. I feel like it's uncovering what you already do know and kind of putting all the pieces together to create a coherent knowingness, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I've seen it come up a lot when there's like an upset. It doesn't mean there's always an upset, right? This could just be someone who's just an introvert. This can be someone who, I mean, is hungover. I mean, it could be really just someone who's stepping out, being away from people.
Yeah.
In my readings, I've often seen him come out. Again, I do a lot of love readings, so if it's come out in like an outcome position, this typically means that the couple is taking a break. There's been whether it's a breakup or this person is stepping out of the relationship to try to figure some things out. This has meant, like, I know a lot of people say don't do yes nos with tarots, and I don't recommend them, but once you know your cards really well, sometimes you can tell. This would be a no card for me. It also comes up when someone is trying to like figure out like a difficult situation, I want to say.
Yeah.
Like some challenges or like maybe deceptions even going on, but they're not always deception, but just challenge.
Yeah. You know, how it sort of connects to the previous story of the other cards. So much has happened, and we need some time to kind of put all the pieces together and figure it all out. I think is where I see the Hermit, where it would come up like time to just recalibrate, but not in the way that, say, the Chariot is, where there's still things that are unknown that you're trying to unearth or uncover, bring into awareness. It's just like I've seen a lot. And now let's kind of pause, put it together, and see what my next moves are, which makes sense where the next card is Wheel of Fortune, right? Things change.
Right. And that actually, like, if you want to like use a story for an example, like maybe a person was using a lot of strength to push through in this really difficult relationship, right?
Yeah.
The relationship is just not going well. And now they're like, you know what? I got to take a break. I need to go within. I need to figure out what I want. And so,
yeah. Eliminate the external distractions or influences for sure. It's time to look within.
And I don't know, just in my readings, it's often shown up when someone is, grieving or there's been a loss. Like there's loneliness in it to some extent because the person isn't getting what they want or things aren't going the way they want, and they're trying to figure out, why is that?
Yeah. In readings I've done, I've seen it before with people, a lot of times fire signs, people that are perpetually on the go, close to burnout or at burnout, like really needing that time to take a step back, feeling overwhelmed, world's a little chaotic.
It's also come up a lot if I ask for like advice for like myself even. And it means that what I think is the answer is not the answer. So you have to go, it won't tell me what the answer is, but it's saying,
how frustrating.
You need to go back in. There's some more work to be done here.
Oh, terrible.
So that's kind of the Hermit in a nutshell. It's kind of like, I think of like a cocoon and a butterfly. This is like the cocoon phase. You're just trying to figure some stuff out. There's a lot of growth going on despite maybe you not feeling that. What would the lesson be in that? The karmic lesson.
What's the karmic lesson?
Like if this just came.
Something along the lines of, what is your value towards alone time? I think, like, how do you value it? What importance or gain from it? Like, are you using it effectively? Or, you know, as we kind of go into the reversals, like maybe are you using isolation as a crutch to be antisocial or avoid things that you're afraid of, right? So how do you value and use time with yourself?
Yeah, I like that. And in the book that I wrote that I haven't published yet, the chapter of the Hermit is called Alone or Lonely. And I talk about that because it doesn't always mean lonely, right? Are you taking time out to be alone because you want to be, or are you lonely? And I think the Hermit is a really good lesson to get comfortable with being alone too. And that sometimes in life you might have periods where you do feel more alone, and it might feel unfair, but there's growth happening.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so let's dive into reversals.
All right. So I kind of already mentioned this. Sometimes when I see in a reversal, maybe we spent too long in hermit mode. Now we're just avoiding taking the next step. You know, I think we're gaining wisdom in hermit mode. And so the next step of after kind of coming to some awareness is sharing your knowledge, sharing your truth to help and guide others. So if this is in reversal, what are you avoiding or delaying about some inner wisdom you may have come up with?
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also think that in reversal, we're looking at someone who might be purposely ignoring or denying their truth or feelings. And that could be like, it could be like, you know, this person is not good for you and you're staying in this partnership. You know that this job is toxic and you refuse to acknowledge it. Or it could just be like, you really are in love with this person and you're refusing to acknowledge that, right? It doesn't, it doesn't have to be like, you know, always bad, but there's kind of like a stubbornness to the Hermit in reverse, I think. And
I would agree with that.
it can also be stuckness. And also, of course, depending on the other cards and how the person's reading, and if you're clarifying and whatnot, it can mean getting back out there. So you spent time in solitude, now you're getting back out there. It can also be like getting unwanted advice, like bad advice, I would say. Like if you were seeking out someone. And we forgot to mention that when the Hermit was upright, it can be like a mentor or counselor.
Yes. I would especially read it that way if it was in the Celtic spread where there's a placeholder for external influences, if it came up in there at all.
Yeah, for sure. So it can literally be a person for sure. But in reversal, I think it can have really more like positive meanings in terms of, you know, you're getting back out there. You found your truth. You found what you need to do.
Yeah.
You figured out your dilemma. You've healed, even depending on the other cards. But a lot of the times for me, when it's shown up, whether it's myself or a client, it's been like refusal to acknowledge something.
Yeah, an intentional ignoring of an issue.
Yeah. So I'm curious what you think about that. So do you think that this person is, like you said, the word intentional, so they know the truth, but they don't want to listen to it? Or are they just totally like unaware?
No, I would think that it's pretty close into their awareness.
They're just like willfully being blind.
Or undervaluing the importance of it and how it's impacting their life, for sure.
I would also say similar to the High Priestess, but obviously different, that it can mean you're ignoring your intuition. I think we kind of said feelings and denying feelings, but ignoring intuition. Would you agree?
I could see that for sure, but I'd want clarifiers. But sure, yeah, let's say also too, maybe you get it clarified with the High Priestess, you know, that's like a sure thing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'd want clarifiers with that, but I could see that being a possibility for sure.
Okay, so we've talked about it upright, we've talked about reverse. I'm curious, just because we brought up the high priestess, how would we differentiate these two?
I was literally thinking the exact same thing.
Right? So a new person would be like, okay, what's the difference?
What's the difference? Yeah, for sure. So the high priestess is earlier on in the journey. So they're just kind of coming into their own, right? Intuition, spirituality, inner knowing, emotional world, very ethereal. Whereas the hermit were further along the journey. They've experienced some things. Okay. Their intuition was probably impacted and changed through those different experiences. And the hermit mode now is reevaluating where you started, where you've been, and where you are now, and what that all means, and working it out more. And you said it was a passive card earlier, but not really, right? There's an action with this
Yeah,
processing.
I agree. I think the hermit is a deeper knowing. Like you've learned a lot. You've learned how to listen to your intuition. Now you need to go in and, listen to it, do the work, take time out. Whereas, yeah, like you said, you're earlier in the journey with that high priestess energy. While it is still talking about, intuition and tapping into that, you haven't quite learned how to do that. We're still in that learning phase. And so I think the hermit kind of takes it almost to another level, because it can also represent like a healer, like
and a teacher,
who's kind of more of an expert,
a guide. Yeah. I see the hermit as a guide of sorts, for sure.
Yep. Whether it's your higher self or literally someone else you're seeking.
Someone else.
All righty.
Cool.
Okay.
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune. I was thinking, like, when we think of like the hermit upright and, try to figure something out, and then we figure it out and we're okay with it, and then fate happens, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We manifest, or the universe, the wheel turns, if you will. So when I see the Wheel of Fortune, I think of change, chance happenings, right? So sometimes these are things that are out of our control. So fate, destiny. I do associate it, like, again, if you read reversals, I do associate it upright, like a lucky break, like change for the better. Like it could be a new opportunity. It can be things just moving forward, like in any area. Like, let's just say you were stalled trying to find work. Like, oh my gosh, you're going to get this new opportunity. It could be serendipity. And in terms of love, again, I have seen it when someone has come in that was just very kind of unexpected and kind of out of the blue and faded. But I've also seen it a lot for people who are repeating karmic relationships. Like it's the on and off again relationships. It's the breakup and makeup relationships. It's the everything's so great and then everything's so bad relationships, right?
Yeah, the up and down.
I've seen that a lot. I'm remembering one client in particular. She was asking me, when am I gonna, like be done with this? And it was really up to her, because I picture it like a merry-go-round, right?
Yeah.
Like you're just going round and round, and you will go on forever. It's literally up to you to get off. So in relationships, like romantic relationships, or reading, should I say, I kind of see it in that way.
I take probably most of what you'd say, some bits and pieces, and I don't know if maybe this is part of my spiritual beliefs too, kind of infiltrating this. But so I believe that we are given the same lessons over and over and over again in our life until we learn them. And we fully embrace, and then we can move on to something else. And so I connected definitely what you're saying, these karmic cycles that just kind of keep playing out over and over again, especially considering, where it is in the spread and who's asking, what else is surrounding it, But I also really see this in, this comes up a lot when I'm doing general readings for earth signs.
Oh,
stop being so stuck and trying to control, just kind of go with the flow kind of energy, just let things fall where they may. Everything will sort of work out. It's definitely a more optimistic card when I see it upright. Now I see it as repeating either karmic cycles or kind of to just learn to release and let go of trying to control everything. Things will come and happen as they will. You can't prepare for everything.
Yes, I've definitely heard that as well. Like if you see it coming up, to just leave it to chance almost.
Yeah.
Like, is he going to call me? Well, he might not. Like, let's just wait and see. It's kind of
like, it's more about like recognizing too. I think it's a good thinker question of, and maybe this is more a part of the karmic lesson, like understanding and being aware of what things are in your control and what things aren't. Most of the time, external circumstances are not in your control. Sure, you can prepare for them, but you can only prepare so much. Things are still going to happen where they will. And it's learning about trusting that process.
I've also, I don't know if it's come up so much in my readings, but when I was studying, years ago, it can also talk about, for some people, that it's almost like what you put in, you will get back kind of thing. So if you've been a jerk and lying and stealing and cheating,
Yeah,
that's going to come back around. The karma, right?
I was just going to say it's that karmic cycle.
That too, but yeah, for me, I often see it as movement forward, positive change, and then I want to look to clarifiers. But in terms of the karmic lessons with it upright,
Adapt to change, I think, would be the one-liner for me.
Adapt. I like that. Yeah, because that's the one thing the wheel is change. Nothing is constant.
Right.
Okay. So I think that's kind of
that.
I think that's kind of the wheel and the snippet.
The wheel reverse.
You
want to start with
my
that
other
one?
thing. So again, kind of bringing up the earth signs. By the way, I have earth in my chart. I love you guys.
I got so much earth too.
But you guys can kind of sometimes be stuck in the mud in your own ways, a little rigid, trying to plan everything, everything needs to be perfect, blah, blah, blah. And so, if this is coming up reversed, I think that's sort of a reflection that you're trying too hard to direct the flow of life. And you're not letting things sort of fall where they may.
It's like you're trying to make fate and destiny happen, almost like forcing.
And the way you want it to. Like there's just a control issue there.
Yep. I agree. I 100% agree. So when you're trying to, make this job happen or make this relationship happen, and it's not happening. That's the wheel in reverse. I think it could also be a warning too, that if you don't stop pushing, this is not going to go well. Like this could get really messy for you, because I've seen it mean kind of bad luck. Again, I'd want to clarify other cards, and everything is like perception, right? Like it's just, when I say bad luck, I mean things going against the way you want them to. So change for the worse, feeling blocked, can be karma coming back, right? So you did some shady stuff and now you're paying your dues. Just things not going as planned. It could also be timing too, right? Like this is just not the right time. Again, I'd want to look to other clarifiers to make sure that that's what I was seeing. But it could be someone, like you said, resistant to change, rigid, but also, again, depending on other cards, maybe a blessing in disguise. So like it appears that this is not going well. It appears that all is lost. But if we saw like, I don't know, like an Ace of Pentacles or something, maybe it's for the better. Like this isn't going to go the way you want, but it's because there's something new and better. And I actually have a belief that if things aren't going the way we want, it's because there is something better always. That's just my belief.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I was going to add on to that. And it's sort of with what I was saying earlier, when we're trying so hard to resist just letting the cards fall where they may, so to speak, we're missing out on other opportunities that may be much, better fit for us, or we're missing out on lessons that we need to be learning. Like maybe we're not supposed to get that job. Maybe we are supposed to experience a devastating breakup or some kind of failure, right? What is it trying to teach us? We are trying to move past that lesson or ignore it completely.
And I will add too, so the Hermit was number 9. This is a number 10. And 10s are ending. So change.
Yep. Changes are coming.
So I find that kind of interesting too. I think reversal, to be cautious. Like I've seen it in readings where shit hit the fan, right? Like the car breaks down, you're late for work, like it's just annoyances like that. But then I've seen it when like someone, it's almost like they're I don't want to say putting in bad karma, but they need to be careful of, what are they putting in now and how is it going to impact them later down the line? If that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, that makes sense for sure. I agree.
Yeah, so I think that kind of summarizes those two cards. Of course, everyone keep in mind, you have your own relationship with your deck. Felicia reads differently than I read, so the way she
Yep.
associates it might be different than the way I do, but of course, always follow your own intuition and everything in context. But yeah, if anyone liked this, learned something, like, share, comment. If you want us to talk about any other tarot topic or questions that you have about
Yes,
tarot,
give us ideas.
yeah, share them. So yeah, so we hope you guys like this and stay tuned for episode 7.
All right, bye.
Bye.